Saturday night is a big one for UFC fans, as Islam Makhachev is set to defend his UFC lightweight championship against Alexander Volkanovski, marking their second showdown after UFC 284. The fight was originally planned for Makhachev to face Charles Oliveira, but Bronx had to withdraw due to a training injury, which changed the lineup. Makhachev is the favorite despite the short notice, but there's a belief that Volkanovski might surprise everyone thanks to his incredibly well-rounded skill set. However, Dan Hardy is one of the few people who think Volk might be somewhat easier for Makhachev compared to Oliveira.
If I'm Makhachev, I've been preparing for Charles Oliveira. I've been preparing for a handful no matter where the fight goes. For me, Makhachev is going to be in probably the best condition that he's ever been in. And I think that looking at Volk, it's a much clearer fight to win for him here. It's far less threatening in certain ranges, especially if he can get Volk to the floor. Of course, Volk wasn't submitted, and that was very, very impressive, but he did have his back taken, and he was controlled on the floor for good portions of the fight.
What do you guys think? After being away for over a year, Khamzat Chimaev is making his comeback in Abu Dhabi this weekend in the co-main event at UFC 294, where he takes on former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman. The match came about because Paulo Costa, who was originally scheduled to fight, had to withdraw due to surgery for a staph infection. However, the UFC's decision to put Usman ahead of everyone else didn't sit well with rising prospect Nickal, who believes the UFC is giving Chimaev special treatment by giving him a welterweight in a middleweight title eliminator. Nickal thinks he should have been there instead of Usman.
I was a little disappointed. They didn't ask me to step in there. I was expecting at least an ask.
Yeah, at least
they're like
cordial invite.
I know, like, hey, you want to do this? But no, just nothing from the UFC. So,
dang,
is what it is.
Nickal then went on to present his theory, suggesting that the UFC's choice of opponent for Chimaev was a way to shield him from a potential one-sided defeat.
I'm guessing that they didn't want me to roll over into Abu Dhabi on like 10 days notice and smash their boy in front of his home crowd or something. But they didn't even ask.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't even an option really. But yeah, it's all good. Like I said, I think that there's probably a lot that went into that decision. So we'll do it another time.
Make no mistake about it, Nickal still sees the bright side of a fight between Usman and Chimaev, but he doesn't think that the Nigerian nightmare will stay at middleweight for long.
Not too much of an upside, but I think that for Usman, he's already been the champ, defended his belt, and then just lost back-to-back. So
true,
he's not really in a great position. But yeah, it should be a good fight. Usman, he's not staying at middleweight.
Yeah,
I'll bet any amount of money he doesn't stay at middleweight.
I'm sure if he has a shot at the title, he's going to take it.
I guess.
Again, if it's Strickland.
Yeah.
For sure.
I guess. I don't know. That would be crazy. He's never been a guy that's been on my radar.
Do you agree with Nickal? Jiri Prochazka is itching to get his hands on the UFC light heavyweight title once again at UFC 295. The card will showcase two eagerly awaited title fights between big boys. In the headliner, John Jones will face off against the former two-time heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic. And just before that, Prochazka will take on the Brazilian knockout artist Alex Pereira in a showdown for the vacant light heavyweight title. Pereira's rise in the UFC has been movie-esque, but Prochazka thinks he still has holes in his game that he's looking to exploit come fight night.
It's for me like beautiful story and big challenge. Yeah, big challenge because I have to say, Alex is not good martial artist, like on the ground, on the wrestling, but one thing he can do. He know to do, and that's his striking. And it will be a pleasure to compete him, like in the stand-up.
Who do you think will win the vacant light heavyweight title fight between Jiri Prochazka and Alex Pereira? Moving on, UFC veteran Vince Pichel has expressed his discontent with Tony Ferguson over a past sparring session that didn't go as planned. In recent years, Ferguson's career has taken a downward turn marked by a series of losses, raising questions about whether it's time for him to retire from the sport. Regardless of one's stance on the matter of retirement, it's impossible to overlook the significant influence Ferguson has had in MMA, particularly because of his aggressive and unorthodox fighting style. Ferguson is the type of person who shows little regard for anything, including the well-being of his fellow teammates, according to Pichel.
So he comes in one day, and then I'm just coming back in the gym. I had a very bad neck injury. I don't even remember how I messed my neck. I want to say it was like dirt bike riding or something. I had a real bad neck injury, so I wasn't training. And I had just gotten back in the gym, and I was still a little like injured, but like kind of getting over that hump, right, and starting to get better. And we were practicing Kimuras, and so we're going over technique, just technique. We're not doing but technique, right? And I tell him, I'm like, hey, I'm just coming back from a neck injury. Whatever you do, just don't like do anything that's going to tweak my neck, right, with the Kimura. First thing this piece of does is he gets a Kimura, and then he continues to scissor me across my neck and just squeeze it as hard as he can. Not even touching the Kimura, just squeezing my neck as hard as he can. So I started cussing. I think I punched him in the fucking dick or something to get him to let go. And then, because I was just letting him do technique on me. And so I get up, and he's like, what's your problem? And I shove him, and then Big John gets between us. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, this guy, John. If you're going to keep this guy, I'm gone. I don't give a this guy. He's a piece of shit. So ever since then, I've just been like, Tony Ferguson, you're not my, you know what I mean? Like, I'll never be friends with him because of that, because that me what a piece of shit he really is.
Ferguson is currently riding a 6-fight losing streak and will make his return to the cage at UFC 296, where he faces rising star Paddy Pimblett. The former undisputed Cage Warriors featherweight champion has been out of action since he co-headlined UFC 282 in December of the previous year, where he secured a highly debated unanimous decision win against Jared Gordon. The victory extended Pimblett's octagon record to 4-0 since his debut in 2020, with the heightened native notching 3 successive stoppage victories against Luigi Vendramini, Kazula Vargas, and Jordan Levitt. Despite being on a 6-fight losing streak, many believe Ferguson is a far more dangerous matchup for Pimblett, who isn't worried about it. Pimblett is eyeing a statement victory against the former interim UFC lightweight champion.
I've got a statement to make. It's been a while since I've had so long out the cage. I don't know if by the time I fight, I'll have had over a year out of the cage, and the amount of training I've done to get better, and I'm just a different fighter. You know what I mean? It's gonna be the Paddy 2.0. The new mythical fight is gonna get unlocked. I want to be the champ, lad, of course, it goes without saying, but can't get ahead of myself, especially after my last performance. All I'm thinking about now is coming out and finishing Tony Ferguson in the first round. You know what I mean? Make a statement, let everyone know what they were missing, and then I'll start looking at ranked opponents in the new year.
Will Paddy Pimblett put his money where his mouth is, or will Tony Ferguson end his hype? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of mixed martial arts, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you for your continued love and support, and we'll see you in the next one.